I'll go ahead and call it to order, and have so many things in front of me. I don't know how to get the ones I need in front, but I'm just gonna, on the agenda, I'm just gonna wing it. If you guys tell me if I'm off or anything, we'll start by calling the meeting to order, and I'm going to introduce everybody here. I'm going to ask everybody to please introduce themselves, and if you like, give your affiliation, but we are required to at least ask you to disclose if there are any people in the room with you or whether you are alone for purposes of the Sunshine Law. So I'll go ahead and start. Ron Terry, Chair of the Exemptions Committee, and I am alone in this room. Onauna?
Hi, Onauna, phone member. There's no one here with me. Okay, great. You're, for me, your audio is a little sketchy. I don't know. In fact, you look frozen right now, so I just want to let you know that. Robin Kay?
Hi, sorry. Yes, this is Robin Kay. I am totally, absolutely by myself right now in this room.
Okay, I'll believe you. Okay, Les Segundo from ERP.
Hi, Ron. I'm right here in the LUC conference room. As you can see, no one's here with me. I'm here by myself.
Okay, terrific. I'll just go by my screen next, and I have Dominic Diaz.
Hi, Dominic Diaz with the Board of Water Supply. I am also here alone. Somebody may wander through the room.
Okay.
I'm working from home, so.
Okay, yeah, all right. Yeah, pretty safe here. Yeah. And I see the rest of the folks, I believe, are from DOT. Is that Lynette Kawaoka? Is that correct?
Yes, hi, this is Lynette Kawaoka. I'm with Hawaii DOT Airports Division, and I'm alone in my cubicle.
Okay, and we have Tomo Murata.
Hi, good afternoon. This is Tomo Murata.
Hey, Tomo.
Hi, and I'm with Hawaii DOT Statewide Transportation Planning Office, and I'm also by myself in this office. Thank you.
Okay, Herman Tuliosenga.
Yes, hi. On the committee. Herman Tuliosenga with DOT Airports.
And everybody was doing so well. I couldn't tell. You broke up a little bit there. You're alone?
Yes, I'm alone enough.
Okay. And I forgot one of our members here, of our group here, Jody Yee, our Attorney General.
Hi.
Well, oh, there she is. Jody? Okay.
Hi. I'm all by myself, but I'm Jody Yee with the Attorney General's Office.
Great. Thank you. Tracy Lum?
Tracy Lum with HDOT Airports Division, and I'm alone in my cubicle.
Okay, great. Thank you. Hannah Hayes?
Hi, Hannah Hayes with DOT Airports Division, and alone in the cubicle.
Okay. Misako Mimura?
Hi, Misako Mimura from DOT. I'm with Highways Division. I'm working from home. My husband's in another room.
Okay, and finally, Faith Kaplan. And there may be some connectivity problems with Faith because she doesn't seem to be fully on board here. So Les, she is in the room, right?
Yeah, Faith is in the room.
Okay, Faith, we see you. If later, if you want to, you can introduce yourself and state whether there's anybody in the room. I'm just not gonna worry about that for now. Okay, can I ask that we move the approval of the minutes to a later time in the agenda? Everybody okay with that on the committee? Great. Okay, the next order of business, I believe, are our action items, correct? And we have two of them before us, the Board of Water Supplies request to have their list approved for release to public comment. And so we would be providing the Environmental Action Advisory Council a recommendation on that. And then we have the DOT's request to have the list concurred with by the Environmental Advisory Council, again, which we would provide a recommendation. I'm going to go with BWS first, even though there's more people from DOT, because I think it will probably be a pretty short conversation. We've had this list before us several times, but we haven't had the pleasure of Dominic's company in this exemption committee. Now we do. You folks have all seen it. You all have it. We'll start a discussion in a minute, but first I want to ask if Dominic wants to say anything.
No, I appreciate your guys' time. Taking your time to look this over and help us get through this process. I know it's been a while. It's taken us a while, so really appreciate the patience.
Yeah, we appreciate the thoroughness with which you responded to our comments and adjusted. Those came from me and Onana. We both reviewed that list pretty carefully. And, from my perspective, you answered all my questions. And I'm fully satisfied with the responses. You do have one, it's almost like a typographical error in there that I would like to see corrected before we release it. And Onana, you want to talk about that, the reference to the rules?
Yeah, and that was my only remaining comment is, at the top, you folks refer to HAR 11-200.1-8. The section should be -15.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I think, once that's cleaned up, I didn't have any remaining comments on your list. So, thanks to you and the Board of Water Supply for taking the time to work on this.
So, Robin, did you have any comments?
No, I went through it again a couple of days ago, and my philosophy is basically, if Ron, you're okay with it, I'm okay.
No. You got to double check me. Yeah,
you did fine.
Okay,
I want to say the only thing I want to say is that I applaud the attention given this by the Board of Water Supply, given the incredible hassle they've been dealing with in the last several months. Bravo to you guys.
It's been long days.
Yeah, we all appreciate that.
Nice.
Okay, then can I have a motion and let it take into account that one typo we need?
I'll make that motion, Ron.
Okay, so the motion is to.
I think what we're being asked to do is, let's see, you had it in your agenda. Hang on. We want to. I move to recommend council. Am I recommending to the council? Or to,
yes, you are.
I'm recommending to the council to request ERP to publish for public comment in the next available environmental notice.
With a second from Onana, okay, and a little friendly amendment from the chair that they take care of that one typo up front, change 1-8 to 1-15, provide us that copy, provide less that copy before publication. Okay, any discussion from anybody here? Any comments from any other folks on the line? DOT, you want to get your 2 cents in on this? Not really. Okay. Tomo, I thought I saw him raise his hand there. Okay. Okay, then all in favor of this? Raise your hand. Okay. Okay, it passes unanimously. There's no need for a roll call vote. Then we're just gonna go ahead with that. Thank you, Dominic. Please take care of that little typo. Send it to Les. Les, please copy me when you get that if you can.
Okay, will do.
Thank you so much. Do great at that. You have so much to keep track of. And that's great. Dominic, if you can attend our meeting, what time do we expect to take up exemption committee recommendations?
Maybe about 1:10.
Okay, pretty quick, huh?
Yeah, let me see. I think we got you first. We will put exemptions first right after the director's report because, yeah. So maybe
Okay.
about 110.
Yeah, and Mary Alice doesn't usually waste a lot of breath on her report, so we should be pretty good. Okay. Okay, thank you, Dominic. Hope to see you then.
All right, so I'll drop off and join back around then?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
Sounds good.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, now we have the DOT list. And as everyone was at the meeting before, I think, maybe not everybody from your team, I don't think 100%, but most of them were there for this. We had some questions in the form of written comments that I provided, kind of summarizing some things that we were interested in. And we had I think we had a really productive discussion. And in the end, we sort of asked you folks if you would consider responding to these in some way or another, and defer it till the next meeting. And you did, and you provided a written memo that not only responded to our comments, I think I must say, are really thorough and obviously you've put a lot of thought into it. Appreciate that, but in a substantive way as well, which I think I appreciated. I think your additions to the list were welcome. I think they solved most of our concerns. The rest of them, I think you said, you have you reserved the right to keep some of the stuff the way it was. We could go through them if you like. I'm pretty familiar with it. We don't have any members of the public here. I think the only reason to go through it would be to have our committee members get familiar with it if they are not already. That was, of course, provided with the agenda, but sometimes it's hard to read everything. Are you committee members satisfied with the explanation, with the substance of things and the explanation they provided?
Yeah, Onana, I'll be very brief. I read through it again this past weekend, and I second what you said, Ron. It was a very thorough response. I may not agree with all of it, but it was a very thorough response, and I think their arguments were good. So I'm okay. Okay.
No.
Yeah, likewise, thank you, DOT, for providing that very thorough response. Like the other committee members, I echo that, we appreciate the hard work that you folks put into that. And, a lot of our conversation at the last meeting was really wanting to understand what your point of view was on certain things, even if, we take a different view. At the end of the day, again, this is your exemption list as an agency. And I think, you folks, DOT, have a very tough job with the amount of, 343 stuff that touches your work. So, with that and with your explanations, I'm satisfied with, moving forward with your list. And thanks again for the hard work that you folks have put into it.
Okay, so it sounds like we certainly don't need any questions about the substance of what they provided. I don't know, Tomo, would you like to say anything? I know you're the spokesperson for the group usually, and of course I open it up to anybody else on the DOT staff, if you folks would like to say anything.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll start. First of all, thank you very much for helping us shape the exemption list, and most importantly, your patience. I think, for the chair, this is probably like third or fourth meeting we have. And this is our second appearance in the exemption committee meeting. And with your help, we believe that our group of planners provided adequate consideration to the comments and came up with a very reasonable and balanced approach. And it's a much more clear and concise. I think, the list is concise when considering exemption list. So I really appreciate your consideration and help so far, and reviewing again our list and taking some time to evaluate our response. I really appreciate your effort. And I would like to see if other members from HDOT has anything to say.
None from airports. Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Herman. Not seeing any hands raised or screens turned on or unmuting, so I'm going to kind of assume leave well enough alone. I know this has been a long process, and we did have some, minor disagreements, but I think that, one thing you brought up, Tomo, was the conciseness of the list. We appreciate that because you guys do a whole lot, and so you could have had a 40-page list, really. And while that would have maybe covered every possible contingency, it would have been very, difficult for you to use and for the public as well, and even for us to review. Not that that's that much of a consideration, but appreciate the way you boiled it down. And then we're able to squeeze a few more things that we had special concern with. I hope, I'm trusting that you guys could live with the things that you proposed, that you were able, that you feel good about it, that it's going to be acceptable to you. I do want to say that, if this list is concurred with and, in the future, you feel a need to change the list for some reason, we're always here. This committee is, as long as we have a council, I think it's going to be going. So you can always come back, and, if you need, help from us in any way, please feel free. OPSD ERP is probably the first stop for questions, but we're out here too and can provide our lay opinions on things. Never legal opinions, just lay opinions. So we'll, we look forward to that. We get quite a few inquiries. Given where we are, I think I'm ready for a motion if someone wants to provide.
Sure, I'll move that we that this committee recommend that the council concur with DOT's revised list.
Second from Robin. Okay, any further discussion? Any members of the public, which at this point looks like it's all DOT? Nothing. Okay, all in favor? Okay, again, unanimous, so we can dispense with the roll call. Folks at DOT, thank you very much for attending these meetings. We've certainly learned a lot. Thank you for your attention to the list. I look forward to seeing at least one of you, maybe more, at the Environmental Advisory Council meeting at 1. So right around 1:15, we'll be 1:10, 1:15. We'll be ready to take this up.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Tomo.
Oh.
All right. Okay, let's see. Again, I just don't have the agenda in front of me. Maybe I can get it. I have kind of running a couple of screens here. Sorry, this is crazy.
Okay, so I think you just got minutes left.
Okay.
And then next meeting date and agenda.
Okay, and I'll bring my copy of the minutes up. I kind of jury rigged my my phone here. It wants to fall down. So
these are the most thorough minutes of a meeting I've ever seen.
I was going to say, Ron, a really good job on this. That must have been, I mean, it was as if you were taking contemporaneous notes. So
yeah, well, I have, Les records these things for me, so it came out. They are actually quite a bit summarized, but this is what happened. So yeah, but I didn't even have a chance to proof these very well because of the the quickness of the agenda and stuff. So if there are, I would not be surprised if there's some mistakes that merit correction. So please feel free.
No, I actually think that you got everything.
Okay.
You might add a couple of paragraph breaks once in a while. Just
yeah, I know.
Give the eye a break, but
you got all the Okina this time, so thank you.
I worked on that. That's the one thing I said. I gotta get the Okinas right. So
yeah, I've been training our staff and paralegals, associates here. It's one of my little nitpicky things.
Good for you. It's a real hard thing to do. You know, when I look at EAs and EISs,
yeah,
they're so inconsistent. You know, and I think even myself, I achieve about a 98% consistency. But it's so hard. You're doing quotes, you're doing agency names that don't use it. And, you know, you can't do a search and replace. That will not work.
No, it's every single instance. And I think it's very tough in EAs and EISs. With smaller stuff, I mean, my nitpick is that it's a spelling error, and two, you know, now we have the technology. I mean, I created a shortcut on my board, but you know, back in the day, you know, there weren't those things. And like Times New Roman has an Okina, but a lot of fonts still don't. So it depends what font you're using and whatnot. But
yeah, you can always use that little thing in the corner, in the upper left hand corner. You run out of, you know, it looks different in most fonts from the apostrophe. So,
right, yeah.
I forget the name of that mark, but yeah, I try to do it. Okay, well, great.
I don't have any comments on the minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, I move they be approved.
Okay. Second. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Again, unanimous. Thank you. Okay, I think we've actually accomplished the agenda. If I'm not, you know, we have some other stuff. I'd really like to get to Parks and Recreation sometime. So I think, but I'm thinking maybe next month I won't hold a meeting because the Board of Water Supply, it won't be out in time for our meeting, you know, the 15-day comment period. In time for us to have all the things in before the agenda. So I think
okay,
think we'll probably have something in April.
Okay.
Instead, unless something dire comes up, right? And so then I'll try to get Parks and Rec. I'll try to contact them and see if they want to talk to us for that agenda. Also, the Kauai Department of Water called me and said, oh, we kind of fell down on stuff a while back. Where are we at? So I gave them my last email to them from maybe July and said, here's the questions we asked you. If you guys will remember, that list had, it was in the form of a table with no tabs or paragraphs, or it was almost impossible to grasp the organization of it. And, you know, all the subheadings and stuff like that. And then the font was impossibly small. And if you printed it out, you could barely read it. So I said, hey, this just doesn't work. They probably were doing it on Excel and whatever. So I said, you know, please help us with that. We had some substantive comments too. So he emailed me back, Val Reyna over there, and said, okay, we'll try to get to work on this. So that may be something that we take up in April too. I think we can handle those three things in one meeting.
I'm out. I thought April was going to be the planning conversation, which was going to be the whole meeting.
Yeah, I'm wondering about that. So I know that's true. So are we not going to do any other business that meeting?
You know, we're going to talk about that at the full meeting to follow this one. My suggestion being that we have two 2-hour segments for that with a half-hour, you know, bathroom lunch break.
So then no committee meetings in there either.
Right. That's right. Thanks for that reminder, Robin.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, it's tough because Board of Water Supply,
will certainly be ready by then to get concurred with. And so that'll put it off for another month. I'm not going to be here in May. So that puts us to June to concur with that.
Well, yeah, I guess for what time are you planning to do the strategic planning, Robin?
I hadn't gotten that far. I was first hoping that there'd be a discussion of whether we break it up into 2-hour segments. One thing we might do, Ron, might make this easier, is for you to have a committee meeting in April. And therefore, I mean, most of the substantive conversation comes at the committee hearing.
Right.
And then at the meeting, if it's only going to be a couple of minutes, you could start off with that.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, do like if we do, Ron, if we could do like 9 a.m. for exemption committee.
Sure.
And then, you know, start the, you know, the morning session for the strategic planning at 10, do 10 to 12, break for lunch, you know, for 30 minutes, an hour, whatever you're going to do, come back at 1 o'clock for the afternoon session. And right at the start of that morning session or the afternoon, depending on, you know, the other folks that you're inviting, we can take, you know, 10 minutes to do exemptions.
Okay. And then, you know, I could even, I have my doubts that Department of Water will be ready. Not Board of Water Supply, but Kauai Department of Water will be ready. PNR, we can take up any time. They're not pressuring us. So I could make this exemptions committee meeting about one thing, Board of Water Supply concurrence, and it could be a 15-minute meeting. And that, because I know Robin is probably going to be prepping real hard for strategic planning and probably doesn't want a whole hour-long meeting with a lot of intensity and things to read before this. So yeah, we could just make it a super simple committee meeting.
Okay.
If you guys can do that, that sounds good to me.
Yeah, I think we can make that workable if we're good with doing exemptions earlier, like 9 instead. That's typically when Rules meets. But I mean, yeah, Ron, you're already meeting with Rules at that time. And I don't think Mahina will call a meeting that month, right? If we're going to say no committee meetings for everybody.
Right. Yeah, she probably doesn't have to.
Yeah.
So, okay. Let's go with that plan for now, unless something else comes up that doesn't seem like a good idea. But
that works.
Great. Okay. Thank you guys for that, and thank you so much for your thorough reading of the exemption list, man. I feel like I got a really strong committee here that, you know, can you know, I'm thinking it's kind of funny. This committee is, this is the one that interacts the most with agencies.
Mm-hmm.
We really have quite a bit of interaction. We really get deep into the guts, and and it's interesting. I mean, I think our I&O has maybe a broader reach, but that's our events, not the committees. The committees are just kind of brainstorming. So it's really important for the face of our council here to be, you know, to be on top of things, and I mean, this is where the rubber hits the road on.
You mean that so that we look like we know what we're doing?
Yeah, saying. That's what I mean. Yeah, we look like we know what we're doing, and we're caring. And I mean, I'm sure they're all talking about us. Yeah.
With you as our leader, it's really hard not to know what we're doing. So keep it up.
Well,
and I want to know if you hire out to do minutes for other meetings that we have.
Yeah, no. That is. Oh my God, that's so hard. It's so hard to do the minutes, but. You know, it's worth it because then you go back and see, you know, see what went well, what didn't go well, and anything you might have missed. So it helped me. So, okay, guys, I think if there's no objections, we'll adjourn this meeting, and man, I'm going to get a bite to eat, and then see you guys all at 1.
Yep. See you folks soon. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Bye.
Thanks, Les and Jody.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, bye.
Okay.